centering song, just please join in when you can. It's very, very simple.
Take a deep breath. Exhaling and inhaling slowly and deeply. Giving thanks for life on this beautiful Sunday morning. Giving thanks for blue sky, for chilly temperatures, a cold, brisk morning. Giving thanks for community, for harmony, unity, for choice, for the ability to choose how we live, to choose how we love, how to shine our lights, to use our gifts so that we may bless the world and bless ourselves. So we breathe and relax, knowing that life is spirit and spirit is life. And we too are that life, for we are made in the image and the likeness of God. We are all one in body, mind, and spirit and heart. Integral parts of the one love that is God. And so we continue to breathe, continue to relax, opening heart and mind, so that we may be fully present here in this experience together today. Whether we are sitting here in this room in Saxe, Texas, or watching remotely anywhere around the world, we are inextricably connected. We are indeed one. And we celebrate this oneness with each other and with spirit in our centering song. Spirit's prayer.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore. Loving Spirit dwells in me. This is my divinity. As within, so without. All I need is here and now. Where there's air, let me love. May I have no fear. All the power, all the glory, I surrender, let it be. Loving Spirit dwells in me, now and evermore.
Are you ready?
Yeah,
All right, 60-second spot on time. Can I have a clock in the corner?
it's there.
Thank you. Roll them.
Rolling.
Action.
Okay, here's the deal. We all know that life is busy. There aren't enough hours in the day to do all the things that we want and need to do. In fact, you're probably thinking of all the things you need to do next week right now, wondering how you're going to squeeze it all in. But the fact is, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, no matter how much is on your plate, we all have the same gift of 24 hours each day. It's 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, 86,400 seconds. All the money in the world won't let you buy one single second more than the next guy. And once that second is gone, it's gone forever. Look, there goes one right now. Another one, gone. You'd think that we would judiciously use such a limited and valuable gift. You'd think that we would choose wisely how to spend, no, invest our time. But do we? Really? I mean, after taking the time for eating and sleeping and all the other basic necessities, do we really use this gift the way we should? Think of all the great things you could do in 24 hours, all the lives you could touch, all the significant changes that could be made in your life and others. The fact is, you could actually make a difference in this world in 24 hours, or not. So, how are you investing your
Time.
Tick, 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 tick.
Wow. That's true. That is true. We all really need to give that good thought. That was beautiful. Today's inspirational moment, Laws of Love by Margaret Pounders. The word is individuality. When we make such statements as, I am healthy, wealthy, inspired, and loved, we are not referring to me, the personality, but rather to I, the perfect idea, the seed, the I am of God planted in each one of us. In Lessons in Truth, H. Emily Cady describes it this way. Personality applies to human part of you. The person, the external. It belongs to the region governed by the intellect. It is the contradistinction to the inner or real man. Individuality is the term used to denote the real man. We must realize that the true I, individuality, is always at unity with the Father, the source of all good. Therefore, when I say that I, the child of God, am all and have all, I am speaking the truth about myself. As soon as I am able to convince me, the personality, that this is true, then it becomes fact in the world of phenomenon as well. And if you guys will repeat our affirmation together, please, 3 times. I am a unique expression of the divine, perfect, whole, and complete. I am a unique expression of the divine, perfect, whole, and complete. I am a unique expression of the divine, perfect, whole, and complete. Thank you very much.
Sometimes I let the moment draw me. Well, most times in my life, we're actually letting the moment draw us to the next moment. So I don't always know what I'm going to sing every Sunday. Kim and I don't talk about that, and that's totally cool. And so I'm sitting in my chair listening to what's happening. Oh, I could do this song. Oh, no, this one works now. But I've found the one that works. I think it's going to be really cool. So we're all unique.
So, about a year after my sister passed away in 2007, so this would be 2008, I had a dream about her. And in the beginning of the dream, we were in a restaurant, and I'm standing on one side of a door, and in restaurants, at least in New Jersey, I seem to remember more where I grew up, is there would be a door with a diamond-shaped window in it and a swinging door so people coming in and out of the kitchen could see if somebody was coming their way. And I remember being on one side of this door and looking through the diamond window and seeing my sister on the other side. And she walked towards the door, and instead of pushing the door and walking through it, she came through the door. Like she dematerialized, came through the door, and suddenly she was on the other side of it in front of me. And I remember in the dream feeling this rush as she came towards me. So at that point, I am merely watching a dream, like our dreams are often movies in our heads. And suddenly it became something more than that. Suddenly I was in the room with my sister. I was no longer watching a movie. It was quite, I knew I was still asleep, but knew that something had changed about where I was physically. I felt like I was in there with my sister, not watching me with my sister in the dream. And as I'm standing there, again, I feel this rush from head to toe, and my sister walked directly to me and folded me in her arms, and I could feel her touching me. I felt the warmth of her skin. She was taller than I am, and by about 3 or 4 inches, and she just hugged me, and I could feel her all over me. And I remember waking up moments later, after she had said to me, "I've never left you, and I never will. I never left you, and I never will." And I just was, my whole body was lit up. My mind was lit up. My heart was overflowing. I'm weeping with joy because I missed her immensely. My mother passed away in 2015. And one of the things my mother loved was she loved to get in the car and drive. And she didn't even care if she didn't know where she was going. She didn't mind if she got lost. And then, of course, she's driving in days way before cell phones and GPSs and things like that. She would take off to go somewhere, and if it ended up that she went in all kinds of different directions on the way there or the way home, she didn't care because she loved that. She loved new adventures. She loved feeling free, and getting in the car gave her that feeling. So after she passed away, I had her car. And in my grief, I could not bring myself to get in her car or drive it, probably for about 2.5 years. So it sat in our garage. And finally, I knew I was at the point where I could get in the car. And I did, because I had to take it over to motor vehicles and get the title changed and get all the paperwork done and everything else. So I got in the car and I started driving, and all of a sudden I felt that rush, that feeling of myself and my mother in the car with me. In fact, for about a minute or so, I would not look in the rear view mirror because I thought I would see her. That's how much I felt her spirit. I just felt her sitting in the back seat of the car, smiling from ear to ear. Smiling from ear to ear. And it was almost as if I could turn and touch her. That's how close I felt to her. That's how palpable her presence was to me. in that moment. And I actually had that feeling driving in her car for about a month. For about a month. Every single time I got in the car and drove, it just felt like she was with me, smiling from ear to ear. After my sister passed, so that was 8 years before my mother passed, and after she appeared to me in that dream, my thoughts about death and life changed. So rationally, I knew that she was still present, that whoever has passed away is still present with us, and that there is this, as people say, the veil. But until my sister appeared to me and I was with her in that dream, it had not solidified for me as an experience. There are some things we know intellectually, or we discern, or we understand, but until we have an experience of it, it's not quite solid for us. So having that experience with my sister made me start thinking about life and death. And so when my father passed in 2009, even though my heart was heavy and I was very sad and quite devastated by losing him, I also knew and kept remembering my sister's words, and I thought, he's probably here with me as well. And when my mother passed, most of my grieving and most of the time my heart was heavy because of the experience we had together prior to her death. It was not about her death, and I didn't feel quite as much of a loss because of my sister's words. That I've never left you and I never will, that I am still here. And I think that I that she was talking about is the I that Pete was talking about in individuality. That I that we are, the individual expression of us as God, which never dies, that doesn't disappear. So several months ago, when Quentin and I were watching a movie called Midnight Mass, there's a part in the movie where I was struck again about this life and death philosophy or premise or paradigm. Now, the movie is about vampires, and it's quite gruesome. And I'm so glad that I stuck in there watching the movie because it just had a different meaning for me by the time we got in the second half of that movie. So it was gruesome, and I don't do gruesome. So there are parts of it where I'm watching like this, looking through my fingers, blanket up this way, not wanting to watch everything that was happening on screen. But the people who were turning into vampires were going through this metamorphosis. It seemed like something evil was taking over them, and it was. And so they became vampires, and then they're running around biting others, and they're becoming vampires. And it's happening in this small town, and it's spreading like wildfire all over. And there are some things that are happening that seems quite mysterious, things that have to do with life and death, and people are confused about it, and there are factions of people thinking one thing, and other people are thinking we need to go out and kill all the people that are vampires, and they're trying to figure out what that is. Everybody is shifting and changing and wondering about this life and death, good and evil thing. And somewhere along, I don't know if it's in the middle or 2/3 in the movie, two characters are having a conversation about life and death. The woman in the conversation, her daughter has just passed away. Her mother is also deceased, and her father is deceased. And the two of them are going for a walk. And he asked her, "What do you think happens when we die?" And she said, "Speaking for myself, And he said yes, speaking for yourself. And this is her answer to him. Myself. That's the problem. That's the problem with the whole thing. That word, self. That's not the word. That isn't. How did I forget that? When did I forget that? The body stops a cell at a time, but the brain keeps firing those neurons like lightning bolts, like fireworks inside. And I thought I'd despair or feel afraid, but I don't feel any of that. None of that, because I am too busy. I am too busy in this moment, remembering. Of course, I remember that every atom in my body was forged in a star. This matter, this body is mostly just empty space after all, and solid matter is just energy vibrating very slowly, and there is no me. There never was. The electrons of my body mingle and dance with the electrons of the ground below me, in the air, and I'm no longer breathing, and I remember that there is no point where any of that ends and I begin. I remember I am energy, not memory, not self. My name, my personality, my choices, all came after me. I was before them, and I will be after, and everything else is pictures picked up along the way, fleeting little dreamlets printed on the tissue of my dying brain. And I am the lightning that jumps between. I am the energy firing the neurons, and I'm returning. Just by remembering, I am returning home. It's like a drop of water falling back into the ocean, of which it has always been a part. All things apart. All of us apart. You, me, and my little girl, and my mother, and my father, everyone who has ever been, every plant, every animal, every atom, every star, every galaxy, all of it. More galaxies in the universe than grains of sand on the beach. And that's what we are talking about when we say God, the One, the cosmos, and its infinite dreams. We are the cosmos dreaming of itself. It is simply a dream that I think is my life every time, but I forget this. I always do. I always forget my dreams. But now, in the split second, in the moment I remember, and the instant I remember, I comprehend everything at once. There is no time. There is no death. Life is a dream. It's a wish. I mean again and again and again and again and again and again and on into eternity. And I am all of it. I am everything. I am all. I am that I am. I am that I am.
I'll take it.
She's saying that here I am. I was here long before the me, the personality me in my life. And when I heard her answer him and say all of that, the goosebumps came back again. And I thought she just put words to that feeling I had with my sister and with my mother. That we are so much more than this. Life is so much more than what we see with our eyes, perceive with our ears, and that we even feel with our skin when we touch one another, when we hug one another. One of the things I grieved when my sister was very ill and in hospice was that she had lost so much weight, and she was often in a wheelchair or in bed. She wasn't walking around anymore. And so when I got to hug her, it was usually in the wheelchair, and she was so thin, she felt frail and almost like she would break if I hugged her too hard. So I didn't really have a real hug with her for months. And so in that dream, when I was actually with her and I could feel her warmth, it felt like I had hugged her again after so much time not being able to. How wonderful is that? So I think when we start trying to comprehend death in life, they are all one thing. And all of that is wrapped into our concept of God, because none of it is separate. I think they all have to come together into one big understanding, one concept, one thought. That statement, I am that I am, that Jesus himself says more than once in the Bible, that's what we're talking about. And if we start to wrap our hearts around I am that I am, that all of that explanation about death and life is all encapsulated there. When I started to understand and feel that, I had no fear of death anymore. No fear of death. And when I start to feel that I have lost someone, I remind myself that I have not. Because I am them and they are me. I am them and they are me. And something happens to the body, but the body is just returning from whence it came. We were there already. We just don't remember it. And this character is saying, I always forget where I came from and what this really is. And so I have not lost my daughter. I have not lost my parents. Because we're all one thing. One thing. I think these are the mysteries of life. The mysteries of life that are absolutely the reality of our existence. Reality with a capital R. And that reality is God, the absolute. There is nowhere that God is not. God is in and through all things. And that's sometimes hard for our brains to comprehend. But I don't know that it is for our brains to comprehend. I believe it is for our hearts to embrace. We have powerful, powerful brains. But this thing called God is not a rational thing. Wisdom is more than brain. Wisdom's not intellect. Intellect can be part of wisdom, but often we have to go straight to the heart to really find wisdom. And I do believe that God is divine wisdom, which has nothing to do with my brain. I think it's important for us to contemplate life. Death is just life. in another phase. It's all the same thing. It's a shift in energy. And the more we live, and the more we lose people, the more we experience, the more we move forward in time. We calculate in seconds, in minutes, in hours, in days, in weeks, in months, in years, in decades, in centuries. And just like in the video, he says there really is no time. We mark it all the time, but that's our construct. That's our construct. And yet, on this physical plane, we are here to decide what are we going to do with our time here. We have a finite amount of it in this present situation, but then perhaps there are other lives that we live. I don't know the answer to that. I'm fascinated by that. I'm fascinated by the fact that I knew that my mother's spirit was in the back seat of that car. I'm fascinated that I could be in the room with my sister's spirit, be in the same space with her, and feel her physically when she had been gone over a year. Fascinated by that. And that allows me to open up more fully to the unknown, the things that my brain can't comprehend and explain or give names to. A lot of things I can't articulate about that. But I know that I know that I know that I know it was real. It was real. I know it was real. And so what are you thinking about life? What are you thinking about life with a capital L, life that is God, and life that is here, this physical plane? And I believe that we can find peace if we do find some kind of way to understand and hold that in our hearts, so that there is no fear. And the more my spirituality deepens, the more I embrace me as not myself, as she says, and more of this oneness as a unique expression of the divine, I have no fear of death, because I'm not going anywhere. The me that matters. My body I'll shed, but perhaps that only sets me free to be anywhere, to be everywhere. To still be with all those I love who will not be able to perceive me physically. To perhaps continue to do work in the world from a different plane. Perhaps. What I truly believe about all that is think of all the wonder that there is in life, and what a gift that is. And if we can remain curious about it all and get out of our brains for a little bit and sink into our hearts, I think it opens up a new existence for us and a new way of being and understanding what all of this is. And then we can chill out about all the stuff that happens. Because yes, we do understand that there's something vibrating around us and through us and as us that is larger than anything that could possibly happen. And then I believe all things become small things. There's no big stuff. There's no stuff that we can't handle. All of it just becomes another fabric, another thread in the fabric, the tapestry that is life. Everything that I blew up to be so big is no longer big, no longer beyond me, because I'm a part of that all that I am that I am. I am that. I am all that, as she says.
Yes.
Life and death. Life. Living. Giving. Breathing. Beingness. It's really just beingness. And we continue to be, whether in the physical body or not. And I can be with you whether we're in the same room or not. And I can hold you, and I do hold each one of you in my heart all the time. I can hold everyone in the world in my heart. Because I am all of them. And all of them have me. And that gives me compassion and love for all beings, all things. You want the answer to separation and division in this world? It's that kind of understanding. Embracing all of that. And all of the hatred, anything, all judgment, everything just melts away. There's no use for it. Because it cannot exist. Once you have that paradigm within you, in your understanding, all else falls away. It cannot exist in that paradigm. There's only separation and division if we think it is so. I don't have any answers to all of that. All I know is what I experience. And so I invite you to be open to all of it. Open to yourselves of something so much more than the me. More than your personality. More than the corporal body. To be able to see life for more than what you can see with the physical eyes. To see beyond what you can touch. To feel beyond that. To hear beyond what your physical ears are taking in. Because the physical is just the tip of the iceberg. Just the tip of the iceberg. And there's volumes more that we can't perceive with the physical. And that's when life gets rich. And that's when all fear falls away. That's where all confusion falls away. All inner chaos falls away. All doubt falls away. Let's take this in a meditation. So here in this moment, say to yourself in your heart of hearts, I am that I am. all that has ever existed and will ever exist. And I existed long before I was presented on this physical plane. And all those who have left this physical plane remain with us. They never left. They never will. It is impossible for them to do so. We are indeed unique expressions of the divine. A wave in the ocean. A wave in the ocean. Ebbing and flowing in our divinity. Returning home. And expressing here on this planet. All of it home. All of it the same plane. All of it oneness. There is nothing we can lose, for it is all the same energy. And though we may vibrate slower or more quickly, we are still the same energy. And that energy is love. That energy is God. That energy is wisdom. That energy is peace. That energy is harmony and unity. That energy is prosperity. That energy is health, vibrant health. So here we just celebrate our beingness. We say yes to life, every moment of every day. Knowing in our heart of hearts that all is good and good is all. All is good and good is all. And so it is, and so it shall be. And so in this moment, we now raise the names for whom we want to pray.
Andrew and his family, our beautiful little church that we have here. Thank you, Father. I love you so much.
For Kate and her family.
Randy. James and Becca.
Laura, Susanna, Todd, Giles, and Colby, Maddie.
For the Beth Israel congregation.
Yes.
For Melinda and PJ.
For all those currently being hospitalized.
Yes.
for the Unity on Greenville spiritual family as they search for their new perfect minister. For Danielle and Davion and Tony.
Safe travel from Melissa and Ricky. For all of our politicians and government.
Yes.
For Gwen and Cheryl. For Melissa. For all of these that we have named and all those who have not been named but who are in our hearts and minds. We know that they are whole, perfect, and complete. They too are unique individual expressions of the divine. And that the all good is at work in their lives at all times. And our prayer today is that they are open to the light, to the good, that they see it, experience it, and can embrace it in their moment of need. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. The offertory prayer. Here, Deb.
Okay, if you'll stay with me, our celebration of giving, please. Divine love,
As me,
blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive, and so it is.
I woke up this morning and I opened up my eyes and I stared out the window, and what to my surprise was a snow-covered hill and the earth standing still for all to see. And I said to myself, what a precious world I'm in, where each moment is a lifetime and a new life can begin. And we have the vision, the light and the life that never ends. And I am as you are, and we are the universal seed. And all this creation was born out of what we believe, believe. And I do believe, yes, I do believe. So hold in your heart all that you desire, and what you never wanted, let it burn in the fire, 'cause you have the power to plant any flower and watch it bloom. And I am as you are, and we are the universal seed. And all this creation was born
fullness of this moment. Thank you, Father, for the many gifts we receive here. The fullness of heart, mind, and spirit, of body. Thank you for the message that enriches our soul. Thank you that all things we have need of, we are filled to overflowing. There is no need, there is no lack. Thank you, God, and may each and every one of us allow ourselves to feel that experience. Thank you, thank you.
Here's the first slide, Quentin. So just 2 announcements. Today, we are now on the electronic list from the IRS for a 501c3. So we're under our legal name, which is Unity Church of Saxe. So you can now sign up on Amazon Smile. And Amazon will then donate a certain amount of money, depending on what you're buying, to our organization, and it's paid out quarterly. So you just go to smile.amazon.com, and you look for us in the list. They'll ask you what charity do you want, and then you change it to Unity Church of Saxe. So not Unity Spiritual Center, but Unity Church of Saxe. Well, when we have more information about other programs, we'll let you know. The good thing about Amazon Smile and other programs is it doesn't cost you any more in order to do that. That money comes from Amazon.
We did it, and it was real easy.
Yeah, it is real easy, yes. Yeah. Next one, please, Quentin. Now, we have a volunteer opportunity. There's someone who's connected to our community who's in need of respite time because she's serving as caregiver for her mother. So you don't have to do anything. You just really need to sit with her mother there at home. And she's able to go to the restroom on her own, feed herself. She probably will already have had lunch, things like that. So you're really just sitting with her for about 2 hours. They need somebody on Thursdays anytime after 11 a.m. So it could be at 12 noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Whatever's good for you. And they live in the Wiley area close to Troy and County Line roads. So text me or give us a call here at the office, or just let me know if you could possibly do that. It'll just allow the caregiver to go out and get a breath of fresh air and be away for a little bit, which if you've ever been a caregiver, you know how important that is. 65% of caregivers die before the people they are caring for. 65%. 65%. It's important that we take care of our caregivers. So please let me know if you are available to help out. And mission vision.
All right. Well, wow, what a great message today. It's beautiful, isn't it? And I really love y'all so much. Thank you so much. So let's read our mission and our vision and mission together, please. We are Unity Spiritual Center Saxe. We are a thriving global community of spiritual seekers transforming lives through love and the expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teachings and demonstrations of unity principles towards the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our life right now. Everything is always working out for us. Thank you so much.
So as we go through joyfully this next week, let's remember such a powerful message today, that truly, how do we express our oneness with all things if the I am is so much more than the me? What does that look like? Let's go play and find out. Thank you, God. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Namaste.
You wanna see